and me co co-host.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, John Donovan, Marty Keller here in Sacramento, welcoming everybody to the Intentional Living Podcast. My friend John down in Oceanside, California. I'm up here in Sacramento. How are you today?
I'm doing well, sir. How you doing?
I'm enjoying the fact that our 100-degree weather of the last week has cooled off, and it's not even going to be 75 today. So,
Oh, wow.
but quite lovely. For those of you who don't know, California weather can get really hot in Northern California. Where John
Hmm.
lives, he's got the cool ocean breezes. You got the June swoon going on, and
Hmm.
or June gloom. Is that what they call it?
Yeah. What do they call it? Marine layer.
Yeah. So this is the Intentional Living Podcast. This is a place where John and I discuss how to break patterns of behavior that we say we don't want and nonetheless continue to show up. Like, have you ever hurt somebody that you loved and then later regretted it and then hurt them in the exact same way again? Or have you ever realized in the middle of an argument that you were arguing the wrong side or that what you're saying didn't make sense and you still continue to say the same things? Or have you ever known that you were about to do or say something that you would regret? Maybe even literally heard a voice telling you not to do that, and yet you found yourself unable or unwilling to stop? Well, these are just examples of the kinds of behaviors that we're talking about here. And in this podcast, we examine and uncover subconscious obstacles to what we want, these subconscious obstacles that behave in this or that manifest in these behaviors. Then we learn to befriend them, make them allies, and use them to manifest the life that we want rather than fighting them. Because when I fight these things, I fight myself, and I'm not into doing that anymore in life, John.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but
No, me neither.
I've had enough of that.
Yeah, I'm done fighting.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
There you go.
Now that's one of those things that we can say I'm a lover, not a fighter, and then we go and fight. This is
Yep.
this is what this process, the intentional living process, is all about, to teach, to help me see the fighter so that I can then transmit or create a different relationship with that fighter so that I can become the lover I really want to be.
Right.
So, John, you developed this practice over a quarter of a century ago. I've been working with you on it for about 15 years. So it's something that we both know yields positive results. Has changed my life, changed your life, and changed the lives of many people that
Hmm.
we've encountered. For the newcomer, all the work that we do here is done in group, and we'll talk about a little bit more about how you can join one of our group meetings at the toward the end of the podcast. But for today, we have been an ongoing conversation reviewing what we call the accountability practice principles. So intentional living uses the accountability practice. Last week we noted that we had come up with in a conversation that you and I had with Dan Gutierrez, our friend and colleague, a month or so ago. We thought we were done with the list of principles, and yet we somehow found ourselves adding some. So last week we talked about a new one that we created, which is called Focus plus Intention equals Manifestation. And today we want to go on to the next one. And so I'm going to put that on the share screen. I'm going to put the list of the various um, principles that we have developed over the course of our work together and the course of the years. So last week we talked about focus plus intention equals manifestation. So today we want to look at the next one. Truth with compassion is honesty. Truth without compassion is cruelty. I thought the truth is the truth. Why would we make this distinction, John?
I was reading Greg Braden, and he was talking about telling somebody the truth without compassion. You can say it in a way that's harmful, like somebody who is obese. You can say you're fat, make it like an accusation which is true, obvious to both of you that that's true, and yet the statement doesn't have compassion. Now, if when I'm concerned about somebody and I want to offer them a truth or feedback, well, number one, first I ask, which is what we're going to talk about next time. And then I say it from a place of compassion. I could say, I'm concerned about your health. And do you need anything from me? Or offer assistance or feedback in a way that the other person might be able to receive it in a way that's knowing that it's coming from love instead of from criticism or blame or expectations, or it could be a partner that I'm secretly ashamed of, and instead of owning that my own issue with body type, body size, judgment, projected on to the other person and say, "Oh, you're fat. You need to do something about that. You got to see how you look. Don't you see yourself in the mirror?" That kind of thing. Where I'm not owning something inside me that needs attention. So that's where I got, and I got the statement, truth with compassion is honesty. In my work with inmates and the people in the community at large, one of the things I hear, and one of the things I heard myself say, actually, I was just telling you the truth. I just say the truth. People don't want to hear it. I'm too much for them. I'm too much for people. Well, okay. What did you say? Well, I said you're a dumb son of a bitch. That's just the truth. But okay, it's adversarial. It causes separation. It causes exclusion. Hurt people. It's hurtful. When I do something, I know that it impacts the people around me. I also know that they choose their feeling. I'll own the impact. If somebody says, when you said that to me, you made me feel. No, I don't have that power. I will own that my statement or behavior impacted you in a detrimental way. That can be something I would own. How you choose to see that is not. I don't make people. I hurt people. Yes, I impacted you in a detrimental way. How you felt about it, though, is your process. And I'm saying that mostly for my own, I want to say ratification. I don't know if that's the right word. My own owning of my beliefs, perceptions, and patterns of behavior, where I'm owning it because I want to see things differently or perceive in a healthy way instead of a discordant way. And that's one of the tools used in trauma avoidant dysfunction, childhood trauma. It was used on me, and I used it on my people in my family, children, partner, before I got into recovery. I would make accusations, blame them for what I felt, and instead of owning my perception. So I'm going to stop there.
Thanks for that. As I was listening to your insights there, it occurred to me that one way to really appreciate this principle is to consider that truth is relational.
Yeah.
So, there's truth is objective. The earth spins on its axis and goes around the sun. But here, when we're talking about truth, we're talking about the truth as a function of communication and communion with other people.
Correct.
And so it just occurred to me that in order for truth to be compassionate from but a statement of truth from me to be compassionate is I have to start with being honest about my own motivation. Why am I saying this to you?
Yes.
And truth, let's talk about some truth here. I learned in coming to meetings over the course of the years that there's a part of me that wants to hurt people.
Yeah.
Or it's not as much anymore, but I became aware that sometimes my motivation in saying something truthful, factual, wasn't to create a situation where someone felt empowered in our relationship, but actually to hurt them and cause them
Hmm.
pain.
Yeah.
And so I just remember sitting in a meeting one time and I was working the accountability tree probably with you, and I was when the truth, what's the truth? Well, the truth is I feel good when I hurt you.
Yeah.
There's I get a reward for this. And this was an eye opener because I did not consciously know this. I could I could
Correct.
see myself being sneaky in the past and getting zingers in and stuff like that. Um, but I never owned the fact or the truth that that felt good. There was a reward for that. So once I
Yeah.
saw
We
that,
have. Yeah.
let me finish my thought. Once I saw that, I could have, first of all, I could just forgive myself because that's the truth. That's a defense mechanism. Goes back to what we discussed last week about how post-traumatic stress created a defense that behaved sometimes in a way that would push people away in order to feel safe.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
using the
Go ahead.
truth to hurt people was a mechanism of safety for a wounded little child. It wasn't necessarily adult, rational, logical.
Correct.
But once I told the truth about that, first of all, I validated that that was true. That was my experience. And in that
Mm.
validation, which is an act of love and compassion, I
Yeah.
I made space for something else to occur.
Correct. We even have a saying in our society: "Vengeance is sweet. Vengeance is sweet." Um, and then think it's about everybody else and not us. It's like, um, and my awareness around this was owning the fact that I was mean to the point of cruelty and took pleasure in it. That was a hard thing to swallow or to say, and that okay, that's what was happening, and it's in alignment with that little guy inside me that didn't have a voice. Maybe made a vow, nobody's going to do that to me again, or I'm going to preempt this, and do it first before people do it to me. One of the concepts I put together as a 4-year-old watching my dad beat and berate my mother, seeing that scene, I saw two parts, the perpetrator and the victim, and it appeared to me that the perpetrator had the upper hand. Now, I don't know if that's how it got put together, but I decided uh, to strike first. Um, the best defense is a good offense, um, and this played out a lot of ways in my life and my relationships. For the fear of somebody leaving me, I would leave them first. I would okay. So this is nuanced and it's complicated, just like complicated, complex post traumatic stress. It's all inner. It's like Gordian's knot. It's all in there, and sorting that all out in one moment, I want to say is impossible. But I can catch a strand. I can catch a strand of this knot and relieve it from the knot, like mine is. Means the point of cruelty, and take pleasure in it. Nice deep breath. This is the accountability tree. Feel that. Feel that pain. Feel that separation at the same time validating that little boy. And yes, you did feel that way. Not saying it was okay, not blaming it, just saying, yeah, you did feel that way. Yeah, that must have hurt, which relieves the stuck frequency, the stuck pain. And then I intend to be kind. I intend to be gracious. Nice deep breath, which starts to unravel that complex post-traumatic stress Gordian's knot morass of trauma that manifests in multiple deviant, subtle, sophisticated sometimes ways
Well, and
through
is
actions.
physiologically knotted up in our neurological system.
Yes.
I mean, this is
Yes.
a physical reality. This isn't some kind of
Very,
disembodied
very,
thought.
yeah.
This is this is uh, this is in the body.
This is visceral.
Visceral, indeed.
Yes. And we don't know that that's visceral because I was told as a young man, be tough, don't be strong, don't cry, don't, I don't care how you feel, get the job done, quit your complaining, which, as far as making money and earning that, pretty good advice, just shut up, get the job done, go get your paycheck. But in the family relational uh, relationship, it doesn't, it's not workable there.
There's
So,
I just want to visit a little bit in greater detail this situation that happened to us in childhood, because I can remember in my family there was just a lot of drinking, and my aunts and uncles get together. They
yeah.
like to party a lot, and they would insult each other. They get drunk and they'd call each other names, or they would make little snide little comments about someone having a big butt or whatever. And then they would laugh and say, "Oh, I didn't mean it." And so this was modeled. It's like you were talking about 4-year-old John. This was modeled to us as little kids where we didn't know anything else. This is what was presented to us. This is what we assumed was reality. And so I learned to do the same thing from being in that environment where people would say truthful things to each other that were hurtful, and then they would
Mhm.
laugh and say, "Oh, I didn't mean it."
Yeah.
It's like, oh my
Kidding on the
gosh.
square. Yeah. Yeah. My uncle used to say kidding on the square. And my dad said it too.
So you would, so I learned to do that as an adult, make
Yep.
cutting comments and go, "Oh, I'm just kidding."
Yep. And the one that could do it the fastest, wittiest, sharpest won.
Yeah. And it was always competitive. So
Yeah.
whoever won this round was necessarily going to win the next round.
Yeah.
Somebody else was going to come back at you.
Yep. Yep. So careful what you said and how you said it. Don't give away too much information. Be closed mouth. Be withholding, guarded. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's fast forward to today. So one
Okay.
of the things that I've noticed as a facilitator is that whether I want it or not, it is a position of power, in the sense that what I say in a meeting gets heard differently from what anybody else might say. And so I've taught myself, trained myself to, whenever I find myself ready to say something that might be jarring,
Mm-hmm.
like one of my favorite lines that you have used and I've used is like, "I don't believe you," when someone makes a statement.
Right.
To to examine myself first to see whether
Yep.
there's any intention to be harmful, whether there's a trigger that this is instigating that I'm not aware of, because be I can't be that's the only way I know how to bring compassion to making a confrontational statement that I'm saying, because I know my history with this person or my experience as a facilitator teaches me that this is often a powerful technique for helping someone see something that they're currently blocking themselves from seeing.
Correct.
But if I do it with any kind of hidden motive, then it will backfire, and um, it will be an act of violence rather than an act of compassion.
Yeah, we're dropping into that next one. Feedback without permission is violence. It's like blurting out something that you think somebody needs to know to help them out with it. Yeah.
Right. Well, that leaps us ahead to the one that says, no one needs my help. So,
And we got them all three covered. Yeah. That's good. Although I think everybody could use my help, or I used to think everybody asked me for my help. I give them my best advice and opinion. They go on their merry way and do what the hell they want. So why'd you ask me? It's like, okay.
yeah.
Gordian's knot. It's tangled. It is. And tight, tight knitted.
But that's another thing I want to just suggest for conversation's sake, the Gordian knot. So in Greek fable, how did the Gordian knot get untangled?
Oh, good question. So all the intellectual people, what they call the knights of the day, tried to untie the knot, and nobody could because the prize was the princess and half the kingdom. So this young guy, whippersnapper, comes through. He doesn't know any of this is going on. Sees the princess, wants to marry her, and then goes, "Oh my God! To do that, I have to untie this knot." So he walked in the courtyard, drew his sword, and cut it in half. Boom! It just
Right.
unraveled. So the accountability tree is not.
You just
We just go right into it. We don't have
You just broke up there. So say that again.
the accountability tree. Yeah, I will. The accountability tree is the sword that cuts through that morass or that knot.
Right.
It cuts right into it, says the truth. As it unravels, you go, oh, shoot, I don't want this. And then I intend to be gracious. I intend to be kind. Instead of I'm violent and vengeful, oh, I intend to be gracious and kind. Okay, we'll see what happens. Oh,
Yeah.
we are not, we never not manifest. So now I'm focused and manifesting graciousness and kindness because that is my focus. And I intend to be gracious and kind. Boom. And then things just, and I want to say for me, it's instantaneous that something shifts in my
Exactly.
perceptions, beliefs, and patterns. Although it takes me a while to catch up with it, to notice it mostly is other people have a easier time noticing those things in me than I do in noticing them in myself because I'm still operating 9/10 from my subconscious.
At
So that's
least.
why yeah. So when somebody offers me the opportunity to hear feedback, I am willing to listen because there's things I just don't see here that other people see easily. And then the feedback, I'll look for the kernel of truth or go, oh my God, you're right. I didn't see that at all. I was like somewhere else. Oh, where are they? Stuck in that complex post-traumatic stress memory pool of information that, yeah, I want to break free.
So that young man in the Greek legend who cut the Gordian knot was named Hercules.
Oh,
And so the reason I raised it, John, is because when you were talking about it, I heard you say you're going to untangle these things one at a time, and in my head, I'm going, cut the Gordian knot.
there you go. There you go.
And I had the same insight. It's like the practice is cutting the knot. Now, Hercules was able to break it in half the first time. Sometimes we need to whack at it a few times.
Yeah, yeah.
So I do think it does take time. I don't want to leave the impression on anybody that this is some kind of automatic panacea, but
Correct.
it does go right at the heart of the thing. It doesn't pussyfoot around. It doesn't because it calls us to the truth.
Correct.
So what Hercules saw was the truth was this is the most efficient way to untangle this knot.
Correct.
And his eyes were open to that and nobody else saw it.
Yep.
So for me, the accountability practice is that direct access to change that I really want, and that my wounded little kid simply cannot author. He needs to be nurtured into freeing himself from this defense, this addiction to a defense, which includes an emotional state, a feeling state that little Marty had, until I did this work, he was always trying to get back at it. And that feeling state was anxious, stressful, hyper vigilant.
Yeah.
So last week when we talked about focus plus intention equals manifestation, that's how I created the unhappy state I lived in until I got into recovery, because the focus of my wounded child was on stress, anxiety, hypervigilance.
And that's how he survived.
Right.
So we're surviving. Yes. So we recreate that body chemistry.
Right.
Yes.
But once I do the Gordian, or I cut the Gordian knot with the Hercules sword of the accountability tree, I have direct access to truth. The truth is, I like.
I was wounded. Yeah, I was wounded and came from a wounded perspective, right, which causes hurt people.
But in the context of what we're talking about here, like the truth was, for me at one point, was I like hurting people.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So once I could tell that truth without blame or judgment, just that's the truth, that created the freedom to manifest something different, to move my focus from my subconscious to my conscious mind, and then say, okay, what do I want?
Correct.
So for me, again, this process has the power to help me create intentionally the life Correct. That I want.
And it is actually waking up. Is that the act of, oh my God, I'm mean. It's like, well, what was I thinking?
Right.
Oh, I intend to be, okay. That is actually the wake up that everybody's looking for, is in that moment. And it's not pretty. If you've been asleep for a long time, when you get up, it's like Rumpelstiltskin. He got a beard. Good thing he didn't have a mirror. He would have went back to sleep probably.
Right.
You got to look in the mirror. Oh, that's me. Oh my God, look at this. This hurts. This is sad. This is, yeah.
Yep. Well, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, we do this work. So John and I just did some work looking at truth. We shared some of the truth that we've experienced in our recovery process in the past. I like hurting people. I'm mean to the point of cruelty. Those are actually, on one hand, to the rational mind, those might be shameful things to admit to or own.
Yeah.
But that wasn't my experience in my body when I owned them. My experience was liberating. My experience was,
right.
So if you're interested in learning how this might apply to your life, we have 4 intentional living meetings a week. They range from an hour to an hour and a half in duration. And they're on 4 different days or nights of the week. And information on how you can join them, they're all on Zoom, will be at the end of the podcast. So the times, the Zoom room addresses, all will be there. We invite you to come and kick the tires of this process, check it out for yourself. Some people like to come and dive on the deep end and bring some fears, anxieties, stresses that they're experiencing in their lives and bring them to work the tree. Some people prefer to just observe, and it doesn't matter to us how you want to. It's your recovery, so you can come and participate in whatever way makes sense to you. But come to the meeting.
Yeah.
And also, please like the video, subscribe to it to help us build the followers on the podcast. So, John, we've run to the end of our time here. Any last minute thoughts about this principle?
Only that it has worked in my life in phenomenal ways. One of the ways I can illustrate it is when I first got into 12-step, they had 12 promises. And one of the promises that is true for me now is it told me 38 years ago that if I continue in this process, I will come to a life I never knew possible. And this intentional living accountability tree process has certainly brought me to a life I had no idea was even possible. So, yeah. Thanks, Marty, for being
All I
part
can
of
say
this.
is amen. So,
Yeah,
thanks, John, and thanks everybody for joining us. And we'll see you next week.
you got it. Thank you, Marty.
Take care. Love you.